Hello again, everyone. onlydraven here, and thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of my bariatric surgery web series, documentary, whatever you want to call it. I believe this is episode number 7. We've been doing this for almost 2 months now, so I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I appreciate everybody tuning in each week and all the comments and feedback I've been getting. I've seen a little bit of an uptick in my subscriptions over the past week, so I definitely appreciate all the new folks who found my videos, and I've had some people reaching out to me to ask me about them and about the surgery in general. I had a really nice conversation with a gentleman who found my videos and then followed me on Twitter and sent me a direct message there, and we discussed that he had decided to go ahead with the surgery and that he had found my videos very inspirational and a lot of comfort in them, and that's great. That's an amazing bit of feedback. I don't think there's a higher compliment I could get. I've had several people say that to me now, that they found these videos inspiring and helpful and comforting, and that's the whole reason I wanted to do them. So I definitely appreciate that feedback. Please continue to reach out to me. I try to answer anyone who sends me direct messages, either on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, here, anywhere. I'm happy to reply and talk to everybody about the whole thing. So ask any question you need to. Again, I've also seen a lot of interaction on my different social media pages, which again I appreciate. Everyone following me on Twitter and Facebook especially. All that interaction allows me to hear you more and a lot more people to be able to find my videos. So I also appreciate everybody who's been sharing my videos and sharing my posts to their social media feeds. So thank you again for that. This week we're kind of going to the old format, a couple different segments. We'll do our weekly check-in. Then we're also going to talk about how we are on the diet and what's changed. And then the last thing we're going to cover is a new little thing we're going to cover is a top 5. Something I'm going to start throwing in. Might be a little fun. Hopefully something you guys can interact with me on. Because I definitely like to be able to throw that at you guys and hear your responses as well. So before I do that, I'm going to talk about a couple other little things. Next week, I am going to start a free giveaway or contest, if you will. I'm going to get a bariatric cookbook, brand new, nothing used, and I'm going to do a giveaway to everyone who watches, has the opportunity to join in. There'll be more specific information on that next week, what's involved and how to get your name in the hat, if you will. But the cookbook, like I said, full cost is on me. I'm going to ship it to you. You don't have to pay anything at all. It's just something fun I thought I'd do for all the folks that have been following along. And I know the different cookbooks I've been looking into seem really interesting. So hopefully I'll try to pick a good one that a lot of you don't have yet. And you get a chance to win that for free. So stay tuned next week for some specifics on how that is going to go down and what you have to do to get involved in that drawing. Okay? But there won't be any charge. It's going to be for anybody who wants to be involved in that. So looking forward to that. The other thing I'd like to mention before we get into the meat of the video, the meat of the video is I've opened up a Patreon page. I've already had a few people join up and sign on as patrons, so I definitely appreciate you folks who have. For those of you who don't know what a Patreon is, it's a website that allows you to interact with creators and artists, a way for you to donate towards projects and receive perks and bonuses. If it's something you'd like to learn a little bit more about, I do have a Patreon introduction video that I posted on my channel, and I'll have on the end card of this video, as well as there's going to be a link to it in the description of this video, along with all the different social media pages I have, if you'd like to follow me along on any of those. So Patreon's a great website and a great way for you to interact with the people you follow and whose content you enjoy. So if that's something you'd like to look at, definitely check out the introduction video at the end of this video. It'll be on the end card at the bottom. So other than that, I guess the next step is we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Hey everyone, and welcome to the weekly check-in. This is the segment where I kind of go over how I've done in the past week, how the overall diet has been affecting me, and any changes or problems I've run into. We'll start off with the biggest news, which is the best news. I lost some weight this week. If you watched last week's video, you'll know I talked about I'd hit a bit of a wall and hadn't lost anything in a couple weeks, which happens to everybody. I just stuck with the plan. I was given an exercise workout by the exercise coach through my surgeon. And so I started doing that, following all the exercises. I go 2 to 3 times a week for that. Actually went this morning, so I'm very tired and sore doing this video. But we been pushing through and following, like I said, all the diet rules, and fortunately I broke through. So as of this week, I am currently down 95 pounds. If you've not seen any of my earlier videos, I started at 431 pounds. And that was my initial weigh-in at my surgeon's office on December 19th of 2016. Today is May the 2nd, May the 3rd, 2017. So at this point, December to May, I'm at about 4.5 months, a little less at this point. And I'm down 95 pounds. So I'm at 336. So that's phenomenal. I was really happy to see that I pushed through that. I expect more slowdowns and walls in the future, but it's always good to hop on that scale and see a lower number than the last time. I have cut back how much I weigh myself. I only weigh myself on Wednesday mornings now, the day that I do this video blog, if you will. So that way I'm not irritated by days where I don't lose or maybe gain a bit back. I'm going on just a weekly number, which was a recommendation from my nutritionist. So we're definitely following all the guidelines and all the recommendations they've been making. So that's awesome. I'm feeling really good. I've only been going to the gym now for a couple weeks, but already I'm increasing some of the amount that I've been using the treadmill. I'm lifting a bit more weight than I did. I can already feel a difference in the amount of strength that I'm gaining. I did not do much weightlifting in the past. Shocking, I know, from my girlish figure, but was not really a workout guy. So doing this, I'm sore, and I don't like the way I feel after going to the gym. I'm going to be honest. I don't like going to the gym. I don't like hurting. Pain is the body's way of letting you know that something is wrong. Okay? Some people say that there's good pain out there. There's no good pain. Okay? Pain is bad. Pain is a warning sign. That's what it's there for. But I understand that it is a necessary evil and something that I have to do if I want to succeed on this adventure to lose weight and get in shape. And I'd like to not only get skinny, but I wouldn't mind, getting a little bit of muscle. I'm not looking to be The Rock or nothing, but I'm already a mountain. But I'm looking to, have a little bit of tone or definition would be nice. So I understand that pain is unfortunately a negative side effect of that process. But I do feel myself having more energy and being able to do more at the gym. So definitely I'm already seeing results, and I really do contribute that to a large part of what allowed me to get through that plateau and start losing weight again. So it's been a really good week overall, and other than that, everything's pretty much the same. Now this week I did return back to work after being off for a month. I was on disability for a little over a month. It was like a month and 2 days was the time that my doctor had set aside for me to recover from the surgery. But I started back to work this past Monday. And luckily I have a desk job. My job is not physically demanding. Again, obviously not looking for physically demanding jobs. But it was still a little strenuous. Just sitting at the desk. The first day all I do is really catch up on emails and training programs and such I missed. But I'll tell you, the most difficult challenge I had to deal with this week being back at work was wearing pants. For the past month I've been wearing gym shorts and jogging pants, things that did not squeeze on my stomach. I didn't want to put a lot of pressure on any of my, incisions or on my stomach, since where they worked on that, my intestines and such. So I'd worn very loose and baggy clothes. I'd put on jeans once or twice to go out, but even then I did not wear them very long. So I worked 10-hour shifts at my job, so wearing jeans and especially a belt for 10 hours plus an hour lunch, so 11 plus traffic, half the day, 12 hours I was wearing them at that point. I found that to be a bit uncomfortable. Not really painful, just discomfort. The other issue I ran into is that because of the nature of my job and dealing with customers and such, getting in my liquids and my drinks was more challenging. I was having to shotgun my 1 to 2 ounces, if you will, and just pound them back really quick between customers, since I couldn't sit and sip on them over the 15-minute period like I normally do. I was able to do that, but there were times that I felt, I guess what I like to call burgly. It was a little drowning feeling, you know. It was just sloshy, like a big fat Canadian sponge, really. There was times I would have to just take a 15-minute period and say, okay, I'm not drinking anything for a little bit. I've got to give myself a break. There's just too much liquid in there. So that was a challenge for those of you who have not yet been to that point. If you have a job that is going to require you to do so, be aware that that can happen. Just pounding that much liquid back every 15 minutes like a shot, regardless of the liquid type. I've tried, different liquids at work, and all of them had the same effect. I just had a little bit of that over bloated drowning effect. So the other issue, of course, is making sure that I can fit in all of my required calories and proteins. Fortunately, I can keep a small cooler at my desk with all the drinks I need in it. It's just finding time to get the drinks in. The medications weren't that hard because, again, pounding a drink back, I can pop a pill every 15 minutes. So I was able to get all of those in. But that's a challenge to look forward to if you've not yet been to that point. If you're considering surgery or still at home recovering from your surgery, that's something you may want to look into. Make sure that your job is going to allow you the ability to be able to get your liquids in, because you do have to get in a lot of liquid. For my doctor's requirements, it's 64 ounces or more a day. So definitely be aware of that. That's a challenge for you. But other than that, no real pain from going back to work. I like to walk around the building on my lunch breaks and try to get a little exercise in there. So no problems there. Everything went really well. So it was a good week, and look forward to hopefully having another good one next week. So. All right, so in this segment, we're going to kind of just cover top fives, top tens, things like that. This is something I've done with my friends for a very long time and coworkers. I like to throw out, hey, give me your top five favorite this, or top five things you hate, things of that nature. It's fun, it's kind of entertaining, it definitely helps pass the time. So this week I have two that I'm going to share with you, and they're related, of course, to the topic of the video, and I would love to hear your responses, hear your top fives, if you would put them in the comments, or put them in the comments on my Facebook page. I would love to hear your responses to the same list. So without further ado, the first top five we're going to do is the top five things I am not going to miss about being a fat person. Okay? Now, there are a lot of things that could have went on this list. So I pared it down to the top five things I'm looking forward to the most. And some of them I'm already feeling, and if you've been doing this for a while, you may already be into those things. So awesome for you. Glad you've already hit that, but I'm looking forward to hitting them myself. So number five, we'll start with the lowest, work our way up to number one. The number five on my list of things that I will not miss about being fat, I am not going to miss having to pay more for clothes. Okay? You go to even a Walmart, and it's $2 or $3 more for my fat t-shirt. I don't understand why. I do not understand why it costs more for my shirt than it does someone who costs another shirt. Now people say, well, it's because there's more material. Well, if that's the case, a small should be $2 cheaper than a large. The difference of material between a small and a large is the same amount of difference between an extra large and a 3X large. It's the same difference. I have looked into this and done measurements. But people aren't getting a discount for buying small clothes, so why should I have to pay more for being a chunky monkey? I don't understand that. So I am not looking forward to, or I don't like doing that now. I am very looking forward to being able to pay regular price for the same type of clothing. Number four on my list, things I'm not going to miss about being fat. I'm not going to miss getting looked at, especially at restaurants. If you're a bigger person, you're in a restaurant, people start looking and saying, what's that fat guy getting? How much food is he going to eat today? It's worse if you go to a buffet for any reason. I go to buffets with friends on occasion. I did before this. And automatically it's assumed, when I'm walking in the door, it's like the owners of the restaurants are diving for the close sign, because they're like, well, he's going to eat everything. But, it's not the case. I eat as much as a regular person, usually. But yeah, you get a lot of looks from people, especially kids and such. And I've had those as well. I spent some time in China about 10 years ago for a company that I worked for. And I was the biggest guy there that I saw the entire time that I was in China. And just the open-mouthed awe I saw of people looking at me. There were times people would come up and set their little kids down beside me or behind me and then rush back real quick to take a picture, thinking I wouldn't notice. And, I did. I noticed, and I'd wait till they were about to take the picture, and then I'd just turn around and growl at the kid, scare the hell out of the little turd, and then they'd go running and the picture would be way better. I'm sure there's some of those hanging up in living rooms in China somewhere. And then some people are just open about it. They just walk up and point at me and point at their camera, and I'm like, yeah, sure, jump in here. Sure, why not? I don't care. I always took it in good stride, but I'm not going to miss that kind of attention. So that's definitely something looking forward to not having to deal with anymore. So number 3 on my list is, of course, goes right hand in hand with that, and that's being treated different. Being a big person, sometimes people treat you a little different. Hey, do you need extra help? And this, and sometimes you may. I mean, especially if you're a larger person with some serious medical or physical needs. But just being a regular person, walking up a single set of stairs at a place, hey, do you need extra help with this? No, man, I can walk up some stairs. I'm going to walk slowly, but I'm going to make it up the stairs. I wouldn't take on the stairs if I didn't think I was going to make it up the stairs. Going down the stairs is definitely easier. People are always saying that to me. They're like, say they're going to mess with me. I'm like, oh, I'll get you. And they're like, I'll run away. I'm like, well, don't run downhill, because if I get momentum, you're screwed, But I'm not going to miss being treated differently. Like I said, that goes hand in hand with the kind of being looked at in situations, and even at the gym. Most people I find at the gym are pretty cool about it. Some people kind of give you that look and nod like, awesome, man, great to see you here. But once in a while, you get those side looks like, hey, what's that fat guy doing here? Bitch, I need this more than you do. What are you talking about? I'm here to try to not look like this anymore. I don't understand the weird looks. But some people, they want to talk to you and they want to look at you, and definitely they want to treat you different. So not going to miss that. Number 2 on my list is going to be being able to fit into places. My wife likes to sit in a booth at a restaurant, but I always have to have us sit at a table because I just can't fit into a booth. I mean, I can have butter and a running start, and I'm not getting into some of those booths. It's just not going to happen, So, I've flown on planes a few times. It's just not a positive experience, especially if you have somebody on both sides of you. You're stuck in the middle. I'm like a fat sandwich. There's just no way any of us are going to be comfortable, especially like a long flight to and from China. That was a miserable experience flying. It was my first flight, too, so what a way to pop my aerial cherry there. But it was... being able to fit into places and go into, things and not have to worry about, oh, am I going to fit in that chair? If I sit on that chair, is it going to break? I have to worry about that at family reunions. Oh, that's an antique chair. Guess I'm standing for the next 4 hours. So I'm not looking forward to that. Looking forward to be able to just go in and sit with my wife, who is a skinny mini, and, sit on things and not worry about the damage I'm going to cause. So that'll be a big bonus. So then the number 1 thing that I'm not going to miss about being fat, and I'm sure that anyone out there who is overweight is definitely going to jump to this one at the top of their list as well. I am not going to miss being tired all the time. We go for a walk, and going at my biggest weight, just going to the grocery store for 30 minutes, by the time I got back to the car, I was almost in tears. I was exhausted. I would have to push a buggy just to be able to stand up. I was exhausted. It just took a lot out of me. We were, hey, we're going to go shopping for the day. Okay, well, we're going to be 10 minutes in each store, and then I got to find a seat, or we got to get back in the car and drive somewhere because I have to sit down and rest. Again, I can get up a set of stairs, but if I got to get 2 or 3, I either got to stop and take a break, or I got to find an elevator. So I'm not going to miss that feeling of always being tired, the physical confusion of, the challenge of tying my shoes. I don't have that problem anymore, but at my biggest weight, just putting on shoes sometimes was challenging. So that is definitely going to be the biggest bonus of not being fat. And some of these things, especially that last one, I'm already feeling a great difference there. I'm nowhere near as tired as I was. I can go out walking for now. We go shop with my wife. We went out last week, and we walked all over the place for a couple of hours. And my feet were sore by the end because I'm lugging around a lot of chunk here. But I didn't get exhausted just from walking. I took a break occasionally, but overall I did much better. So I'm already feeling the change, and I cannot wait for the day where I can just go out and match the rest of my friends for vigor and such, and not have to slow the pack down. So biggest bonus right there. So the next 5 we're going to do is going to be the flip side of that. It's going to be the top 5 things I'm going to miss about being fat. Now, it was harder to find stuff for this list, but there are some things that exist. Losing weight and getting healthier is an amazing thing. Like I said, I'm already feeling the benefits of it, but there were a couple little perks of being a bigger person, so we're going to cover those now. Okay, again, starting with number 5. Number 5 is the polar bear effect. I never got cold. At my biggest weight, I could have been out naked in the snow, and I would be sweating. I kept the AC running year-round, fans blowing all the time. I just never had to worry about that. Flip side to that, the summer was miserable for me. I stayed inside all the time. But in the winter, on cold days, I just didn't feel it. I was wearing shorts at Christmas outside, and everybody else is bundled up in coats. I just didn't have that problem. Now, may have a little bit of benefit there being born and raised Canadian as well, but more than anything else, I noticed my weight was just insulation. Now, I guess I might have been a little cold. It just takes a long time for the feeling to get through all this up to my brain. There's a lot of distance for it to cover. So I will miss that. I've already at the point now, I've got a little space heater, and sometimes I'm sitting here at the computer and I'm like, my feet are a little cold. Guess I'll turn the heater on today. I never had that problem before. So I'll miss being warm all the time. Number 4 on the list is going to be funny fat clothes. I like being funny. I like entertaining people. So I do that in any way that I can. And clothes was an easy way to do that. Well, I had to pay more for the same damn clothes. At least they had funny fat slogans. I got a t-shirt that says, I'm hard to kidnap. And it says, I'm not large, I'm fun-sized. There's a lot of really funny and interesting shirts out there that kind of go hand in hand with being a bigger person. And I'm sure there's other things as well. But shirts is always how I kind of used as a canvas, if you will, or more likely a billboard would be a bit more accurate. But I'll miss being able to have those funny slogans. Now I'm going to have to find funny skinny slogans. Are there funny skinny slogans out there? Any of you skinny people have funny t-shirts that are specifically because you're skinny? Please let me know, because, maybe I'll buy one of those one day. That'd be cool. So number 3 on this list. Things that I will miss about being fat. I will miss being able to mess with people. Being a fat guy sometimes gives you a lot of opportunity to just kind of joke with people and mess with the fat stereotype. I love walking into a restaurant and they're like, hey, what can I get for you? I'm like, I'll take this half of the menu. And then they're like, the whole, and then you're like, no, I'm just playing, or they walk up and they're like, how would you like your steak? I'm like, too weak to fight back, just run it by the table and I'll grab off a leg. We're good to go, or just things that I can throw out at waitresses, especially waiters and waitresses was a great person I could mess around with. So I like to do that. Another fun thing I like to do is to go into a clothing store and pick up like a t-shirt. That's definitely too small for me, and go up to the someone behind the counter and be like, excuse me, do you have this in fat? Because they always get nervous. They don't know how to answer that. They're like, what size would that be, sir? And I'm like, well, anything with more X's than the porn industry is probably going to fit. You know what I mean? If it says property of Ringling Brothers on the inside, red and yellow striped, probably going to cover this. So you want to see you got any of that in the back. And they're like, I don't think we have that. It's just something fun to do. I probably mean and rude. Afterwards I'm always like, I tell them I'm kidding. Haha, this is what I'd really like to buy, But, I try to make it fun. Usually pretty much everybody's really, laughs and enjoys it once they see that I'm just messing with them. But, I try not to be mean about it, just kind of fun. So I'll miss being able to do that kind of thing. I'll have to find other ways to screw with people. So I'm sure I'll find them, though. After that, the next thing that I'm going to miss the most is going to be probably fat slogans, fat mottos. I have a lot of different fat slogans, fat mottos. Again, I like to entertain people, so I always like to have little sayings and such stuff there. And probably the one I'm going to miss being able to tell people the most is I like to be like, remember, ladies, nobody eats like a fat man. Giggity, giggity. So, that's something fun I used to throw out there. Num, 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 num. But, just different, things like that you can throw out there, different fat cameos, off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of anymore, but I've been saying them for years, which goes right hand in hand with the number 1 thing I'm going to miss about being a fat guy, and that's fat jokes. fat humor. I used to do stand-up comedy, but then I got too fat, so now I do sit-down comedy. It's just way easier. But I've always got a fat joke out there, and a lot of my friends and coworkers are like, "What are you going to do when you lose weight, man? You're not going to be able to use those fat jokes anymore." And I didn't really think about it here until recently, but that's actually true. A lot of that humor is just not going to work for me anymore. I also have to make fun of the fact that I'm ugly or something like that, but I'll lose a lot of those fat jokes. So that's been a large part of my comedy for a long time. You know, making fun of other people can be mean and rude and so on and so forth. I've always found that if I make fun of myself, people are a bit better at laughing at it. They feel a bit more comfortable, like, oh, okay, he's cool with it. I can throw that out there as well. And so people are a bit more accepting of it. Now, there's some people who walk up to me and they're like, I really wish you would make fat jokes about yourself. It kind of makes me uncomfortable. That's usually because they're a fatty too, and they just don't want to think about themselves in the same context. But, you know, I love a lot of fat jokes I enjoy. Like, my favorite fat joke of all time: what's the one thing in the world fatter than me? Yeah, shit, I couldn't think of nothing either. But, you know, just stuff like that. Just having different type of fat comedy, fat things to throw out there. So I'm going to miss being able to have that kind of, you know, centralized source of comedy or content that I can throw at parties and groups, because I have a million of them. Pretty quick-witted when it comes to making fun of myself. So I guess I'll have to find other ways. But those are the top 5 things I'm going to miss about being a fat guy. So those 2 lists are just kind of what I threw out there this week. I'm going to do different things like favorite restaurants, foods that you like, favorite foods you found now that you've been doing the surgery. I mean, there's a lot of different ways I can go with this. So we'll definitely look forward to seeing more. Not sure I'll do one every week, but I'll do them occasionally. I would love to hear your responses. What are the top 5 things that you're looking forward to being a skinnier or healthier person after you've lost your weight? And what 5 things do you think you might miss? If you can even find 5. You can just find 2 or 3. Throw your list in the comments. I'd love to see those, and if I get a bunch of them in there, then I might even kind of pull a few up and include them in the next videos as responses. So I'd love to hear your feedback. So thanks for tuning into the top 5s. So once again, that pretty much is going to sum us up for the week. We've covered the weight loss and going back to work and my top 5s. So this week, like I said, not a lot of big new things other than losing some weight again, which was great. But I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and all the new subscribers and all the new watchers. Thanks for joining in with us. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. That way you can see all my videos as they come out. Also, in the description of this video, you'll find links to all my different social media. I have a Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Snapchat, all that kind of stuff. So definitely follow me along there as well. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I definitely look forward to seeing you more. For some of you folks who've been sharing my videos to your own social media, to some of the different weight loss groups and such that we're members of, definitely appreciate that. Feel free to share the videos as much as you'd like. If you have someone who you think might benefit from these or who might enjoy them, feel free to throw it out there. I definitely appreciate all the word of mouth that I've been getting and all the new people that I've been meeting from making these videos. So I appreciate that. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you're also interested in learning more about Patreon, be sure to click on the Patreon introduction video at the end of this. There's also a link to my Patreon in the description of this video, and I'll put it right here again as well for those of you who'd like to look at that. I guess the last thing I'm going to mention is, as I mentioned, I'm going to do a contest next week, so everybody tune in. I try to put these out every Wednesday, so next Wednesday I'll do my next one, and I'll give the specific instructions and rules for you know, getting involved and being able to get in the drawing for that free bariatric weight loss cookbook, and I'll let you know exactly which book and how long the contest is going to run. So definitely look forward to that. May have some special rewards as well if we can get enough subscribers from doing it, maybe give away 2, something like that. So we'll definitely look into that and see how the feedback goes. So love to hear from you. Shoot me messages, leave them in the comments. If you've got questions, comments, or feedback, positive or negative, I would love to hear them. Thank you so very much for tuning in and following me every week. I really look forward to continuing to make these videos for you. So thank you so much.